So let's start first with the coronavirus itself. The most recent numbers show these fatalities by country. And as you can see on this chart, you see that Italy and Spain are starting to peak, and the curves are starting to flatten for Spain and Italy. It is my understanding from my research that the US will hopefully start flattening in the next 7 to 14 days. We now have crossed over 1 million cases with over 50,000 deaths globally. So this is a very unique virus that we're facing. Let's talk about the incubation period. The reason why the 14-day and now this whole month of lockdown is so important for our country is because the median incubation period is 5.1 days. 95% are showing symptoms in 4.5 to 5.8 days. However, 99% will develop symptoms within 14 days. So, if most people practice social distancing, working from home, avoiding crowded areas, then within 14 days, all of the symptomatic people will declare themselves without spreading this disease further. So aggressive action now will pay great dividends later. My understanding is that the fastest timeline for vaccines to reach patients is typically around 12 to 18 months. It took about 20 months for the SARS vaccine to reach human testing. So again, this chart here of the flattening of the curve, it's really important because it puts a strain on our healthcare system's capacity if we all don't do our part and social distance ourselves. Going back actually to that other chart, you'll see that South Korea, they did a great job at social distancing, and they did a ton of tests. And the tests were able to identify those who had it early on and then isolate them. And you can see that the line of fatalities for them was much better than those around the United States and the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, by the way, in this chart, they decided to just at first tell everyone, well, let's just all get it and we'll get herd immunity. And then they changed their mind once they started learning more about it and they received pressure from around the world. So one thing I do want to point out is, what do the following diseases have in common? HIV, mad cow, influenza, Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, the severe acute respiratory syndrome known as SARS, this coronavirus, and salmonella. The answer is they all come from animals. These are called zoonoses. And 3 out of 4, or 75% of new or emerging infectious diseases come from animals. In wet markets, as we've learned, live and dead animals are often kept in cramped, filthy conditions, and if some creature simultaneously gets 2 viruses, they can mutate into a new one. So the point I'm trying to make here is the way that we treat animals matters. Proverbs 12:10 says, "The righteous person cares for the life of his animal, but the mercy of the wicked is cruel." I'm not advocating to be a vegan. If you know me, I really like Henry's barbecue. But the way we treat animals that we use for meat really does matter. And I think this is an important time to reflect on where we get our meat and how we're treating the animals that we get our meat from. Now, there's always the risk that the coronavirus mutation can jump. Again, if it disappears from humans, it will not necessarily have disappeared from the animals from whom it jumped in the first place. So there's always a possibility it could jump again. And there's also some uncertainty as to whether or not the antibodies that these people that have had the coronavirus and survive, whether those antibodies will help them from getting it again. And we hope that this is more like measles or chickenpox, where once you get it, you don't really get it again. You build up enough antibodies within your body. So that's the coronavirus. And there's some uncertainty still regarding that. But hopefully we're working and developing vaccines, and hopefully we can get this beat quickly.